Okay, welcome to this live stream now. I have been planning to do a live stream instead of a group of videos because I thought it would be better and I could cover more subjects. So today I am going to cover both the governor's elections, the senator elections, and the house elections. Now the house elections, they have the same map, and yeah, it is more going to be if the house election was held today, which of course it is not. If it was held in November 2021 and Biden would have his terrible approval ratings and all of that. But we're going to start with the Senate elections because, as you know, these are mostly safe. Alaska, you never know what a GOP infight could lead to there. I'm quite hesitant in putting both Missouri and Colorado as safe for the GOP, though. Because we don't know if the candidate that they nominate is going to be someone who has a large appeal. Both are probably going to win, but we are going to put them both in likely for now. Trump has of course made these states reliably Republican, even Ohio, and he is certainly going to have a big appeal there, and he also has not endorsed yet. He has endorsed in North Carolina, which I believe is lean, maybe even likely, it depends. And he has endorsed in Pennsylvania, but he withdrew. Anyway, Democrats are going to have someone safe to Oregon, Hawaii, California, of course, New York, Vermont. I did not mention that Peter Welch was running, but now he is running. He was the obvious heir apparent to Patrick Leahy's seat. I mean, he was the US representative since 2006, which is when Bernie Sanders retired. Or at least retired to run for Senate. You can call it whatever you want. But now we have the competitive seats remaining, and some of these would seem very strongly Democratic, but I'm going to put both Washington and Illinois in the Democratic likely category, because Illinois has been captured by the Republicans quite a few times really in the last decades. It was taken in 1998, it was taken in 2010 by the legendary Mark Kirk, and no one has won re-election to that seat since Alan Dixon in 1986. So it could definitely be competitive, while Washington was won by only a 5-point margin in 2010, and the Republicans, I don't know how good their candidate there is, but she seems okay. And if she could do a good campaign, she would definitely be able to draw some Democratic money away from other states. Colorado, Eli Bramer is the Republican frontrunner right now because no bigger names have entered. He is quite unknown, but I think he is a good candidate. Former Olympic athlete and chair of, I believe, the El Paso County Republican Party. But Colorado, we will see. Biden won it by 13. The Republicans have not won anything there since 2014. And I think actually the governorship is more likely to flip than a Senate race, because they have had Democratic governors for so long, and the Senate is much more national and polarizing. But heading over to Arizona, this is the first rating change. I'm moving Arizona from lean Democrats to tilt Republican, because I believe Blake Masters is just a very good candidate, and I believe he is going to get the Trump endorsement. Mark Brnovich maybe has more appeal in Phoenix and the typical John McCain voters that live there. But Blake Masters is real smart. He has many of Trump's policies, though not his personality traits that many don't like. And I think that he has, along with Peter Thiel and those guys, some of the best policies and most important perspectives to bring to the Senate of anyone in the state of in the states. So I'm putting that into the tilt R column because Biden is so unpopular now. Nevada, I'm still going to have it as lean R. I think that Adam Laxalt is going to pull it off. I mean, the last time there was a midterm year during a Democratic president, Obama, well, there was not a Senate election in Nevada in 2014, but the governorship has went Republican many years, many times in a row. So I think it is probably going to flip. The Senate race, she is a one-term incumbent, she is very vulnerable. And I actually made a graph that showed the raw vote total in Nevada. I would pull it off now, but I can't because I don't have it here. But going to Wisconsin, Ron Johnson and the other Republicans that could eventually take over the torch from him, lean R. Maybe likely. Okay, no, it's lean, still lean. We don't know, maybe it's Sean Duffy, maybe it is Mike Gallagher or Brian Steele, but there are several good candidates to take over from him. Going over to New Hampshire, that's another ratings change. I'm going to put it as tilt Democrat, because the guy that's the front runner now, Don Baldock, he doesn't have much name recognition. I'm not very sure about his policies, if he even have any. So I would hesitate to call him a good candidate. You know, when Chris Sununu said he wouldn't run, I thought, okay, there's still hope. But then I found out that about at the same time, Kelly Ayotte and Scott Brown had also decided not to run. Both of them. And that was very bad news. It is bad news. These three were the best GOP picks, and all three decided not to run. Of course, now the governorship is safe, but as soon as he has signed the new congressional house maps into law, what does the governorship there matter for the rest of the country? It's only funny to see the Young Turks react negatively because it flips on, because it stays red on election night. Anyway, Georgia and Pennsylvania are both going to be lean R. Yes, we are a bit unsure about the potential of a really good candidate come up in Pennsylvania. We don't know if that's going to happen. I don't have very high hopes about it. It would be great, but for now, we are really in doubt. It is going to be a red wave year, and I think that Lou Barletta is going to win the GOP nomination for governor. I think he's going to win the governorship also, because it is an open Democratic seat and Biden is so unpopular. Also Georgia, Herschel Walker is probably going to be the nominee. Though I could absolutely see him take the same turn as Mr. Sean Parnell in Pennsylvania. I mean, Herschel Walker, he has some trouble issues in his past, in his personal life. I don't know how important that is going to be. So we will see. But now I have them at 53 for the Republicans and 47 for Democrats. It would really be exciting to see if they manage to put some more, if the Republicans manage to put some more seats than the big four, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and New Hampshire, into play. I mean, Illinois and Colorado, maybe Washington even, you never know. Maybe be Connecticut if things get really crazy. But let's go on to the governor's elections, and here a lot of states are already going to be solid for a party. I don't know about Alaska. I'm going to put it likely R. Texas, I mean, is Greg Abbott really going to face Mr. Beto O'Rourke? Yeah, he better hope so. Arkansas, Tennessee, of course Virginia and New Jersey already have, so they are done deals. South Carolina, Alabama, and likely for Ron DeSantis in Florida. In California, I think it's going to stay safe. Oregon as well, these are very liberal states. Colorado, lean. I shouldn't really go to lean states yet, but I think that Colorado will be lean. Jared Polis, he's running for a second term, and the Democrats have controlled the governor's mansions there since, I believe, 2006. Anyway, Minnesota, Tim Walz, probably going to be favored for re-election. In the state of Iowa, you have Kim Reynolds. I think she's very favored as well. And I almost forgot to go through New England. Assuming that all of these guys run for re-election, it's safe Republican. Maine, I would almost keep as a toss-up, but I think I'm going to put it as a lean D because of ranked choice voting. Connecticut is the state that has been very close to electing Republican governors in elections in the past, but just haven't done it. They haven't completed. So Connecticut, I think, is going to be, okay, let's just call it Tilt D. Rhode Island, I don't know, likely. And New York, Lee Zeldin is running. Really interesting to see how it would turn out if they turn out in such large numbers, because Trump really improved in New York City, like areas like Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan even, compared to his 2016 margins. So if Lee Zeldin can hold that and hold turnout low and do a typical good Republican showing in the rural areas, he could actually win, but I'm going to put it as lean D, and I think many people are going to criticize me for this, saying that I am biased, and I think it's definitely either lean or likely. It could be a bigger margin, we will see, anything can happen. It is Trump's home state, and there might be some anger about his unfinished business there. Anyway, in Ohio, Mike DeWine and Jim Renacci are facing off in that GOP primary. I think it is going to be a likely hold. Pennsylvania, I'm actually going to put lean. I know that Shapiro, which I believe is the Democratic Attorney General, I know he's running. Are you using OBS? Question. I am, that's true. So, yeah, I mean, that's quite obvious, you can see it in the bottom. Anyway, we go on to the rest of the Midwest. I think that many people are also thinking now Tony Evers is finished in the state of Wisconsin. And I should also mention Laura Kelly down in Kansas. She's probably going to lose re-election. And I would definitely not put Mr. J.B. Pritzker in Illinois in any safe position at all. I think that he is in very big trouble. But again, it depends on the candidate. Depends on the candidates. If they are able to put a good candidate up there, then we could definitely see some change there and a competitive race and maybe even a flip. But we will see. Don't have your expectations too high, because it really depends on if the Republicans can recruit someone good. But I'm going to put Illinois as likely Democratic for now, along with Maryland. I can't believe I'm putting these states more blue than New York. Well. Well, okay, in Arizona you have Kerry Lake and Matt Salmon battling for the Republican nomination. By the way, Alaska is blue. Arizona, I think, is going to be lean, because it is actually an open seat. Georgia is very scary for the Republicans. I think that they have a very small advantage, but the infighting is just so bad for the party. It's going to really harm them. So you never know. In Nevada, as I think I said it in the Senate races, that I believe that Sisolak is going down. He will probably face Dean Heller, the former senator. And Sisolak, even though he is a moderate and have defended, for example, the Electoral College and taken some moderate overtones, this year is not going to be favorable to the Democrats in any sense of the word. Now the remaining actually have both female Democratic incumbents running for re-election. Those can be quite difficult to take down. I think that Michelle Lujan in New Mexico is going to be favored, but in Michigan, not so much. Michigan is more of a Republican state, more of a competitive state, and okay, I think tilt. But again, depends on the candidates. I have talked about many different candidates in many different races, but in Michigan I'm really unsure what we are going to see from the Republican side. So, unknown territory. Alright, let's go to the last one, which is the House elections. Now, this is probably going to take a while. The Republicans are currently at 213 to the Democrats 222. 5 seats flipped and they are in the majority. And I want to start up in Maine, in the New England region. Because Jared Golden, even though he won re-election, voted for one article of impeachment against another, and then voted for all articles in the second impeachment, I think he would go down in a red wave year because, I mean, his district is just too Republican. It voted for Trump twice. It voted for Susan Collins by an astronomical margin. Going over to New Hampshire, this seat is probably going to be drawn in a way. You know what? I think it's going to be likely Republican flip, because it is going to be drawn very favorable to the Republicans. The Democrats also have a proposed map in New Hampshire that would be very equal in that the districts would both be very, very competitive. And that could be a demi-mander in 2022, but not later. We will see. In New York, I still think that Antonio, or is it Anthony? Okay, this is Antonio, and I think he would lose. In the state of New Jersey, I think Andy Kim, because his district is very Trumpian, I think he would lose, and probably Tom Malinowski, especially if he faces Thomas Keane again. And maybe one more, but I'm not sure which one. Maybe Mikey Sherrill, maybe Gottheimer. Let's see. I think that probably Gottheimer. But in Pennsylvania, many people are talking about Republicans improving again in the suburbs of Philly, but that's not where I think they are going to flip seats. I think they're going to flip seats. Connor Lamb is retiring, and Susan Wild and Matthew Cartwright are also in big trouble. And we have already flipped the table, so now Republicans have 222 and Democrats have 213. In the state of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin won like this district by 10, this by 5, so this is really the unsecure thing. It depends. I think it's going to be drawn a bit Republican, but as it is now, okay, Democrats might narrowly hold on. I wrongly predicted before that it would flip, so not taking any chances. Also, you have the state of Ohio. Tim Ryan won his seat by 8, much closer than he should, because that is a very, very democratic district, a vote sink really. But I think it would stay. On the other hand, in Michigan, I think that Haley Stevens would lose, and probably Lisa Slotkin too, really. This is Trump-friendly territory. And then you go to Illinois and the upper Midwest, where there are a bunch of candidates that would be toast if they were to seek re-election with these maps. And also in the suburbs of the city of Chicago, Lauren Underwood would go down. And I even think that Sean Kastner would actually lose, because his district it only voted for him by like 7 points. It was a Republican stronghold before Trump. But yeah, I think that it would actually flip too. It might flip back again already in 2024 in that case, but still. In the state of Kansas, I'm actually thinking that she would hold on Sharice Davids narrowly. In Georgia, probably flip back this one. It depends who runs. I think that the 6th district has become a bit too Democratic, but the 7th is a bit more Republican, would probably stay. And in Florida, I think that Charlie Crist's district would flip even if he ran for re-election, because it is a close one. Many Republicans live in the Tampa area. And we are moving west with the time zones. Lizzie Fletcher, with this map again in 2021, she would definitely go down, and to be honest, so would Colin Allred. Simply because of Biden's unpopularity, and that is really the reason for many of these calls. in the state of Arizona, I think that Tom O'Halloran's seat would flip. Maybe also Ann Kirkpatrick. I mean, she's retiring in 22. But, yeah, if she was to run for election and if there was any elections this year, would not be too good. In Nevada, I think Republicans would flip both of these. This one in the South is a bit more Republican, so it would definitely go. But just purely because of Biden's approval ratings and stuff like that, would not look too good for the Democrats. Okay, in California, the one maybe hot take of this is that the 3rd district up here would flip because it did not vote for Trump or anything. It was a Democratic district also before 2018. So saying that it would flip is sort of taking a chance. But it is one that has actually trended surprisingly much. And the very close races in California in 2020 all favored the Republicans. But remember that Democrats won the national popular vote in the House races by like 3 points. And if the Republicans would win it, I think that they could actually go back down to Orange County and flip this district here. I don't remember the name of the Democratic incumbent here right now, but still, I also think Josh Gottheimer would probably go down. Peter DeFazio against Alex Skarlatos. With Biden's unpopularity right now in this district, I actually think Skarlatos would pull it off. And the same here in this swing district in the state of Washington. And I believe that's it. Yes, it is. And long story short, that is 244 district for the Republicans and 191 for the Democrats, which is, in short, meaning that Kevin McCarthy would be Speaker of the House, even if some of the more Trumpian people like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert did not vote for him because they would have more than enough votes to secure that. And yeah, just to sum it up, that was the result in the House. In the governorship, I think Republicans would defeat a few incumbents and get up to 32. In the Senate races, I believe that they would also defeat a couple of incumbents and get up to 53. So, I know that not too many people are watching the stream right now. I hope that more will watch the stream. I hope that my microphone is working well and that you find this, I guess, prediction, that you found it interesting. But anyway, I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.